Pandemics, hurricanes, and natural disasters. As we've seen, the world can be a very unpredictable place, but fortunately, there is a way for us to prepare. I have the pleasure of sharing with you the necessary steps on creating a successful emergency preparedness kit. So, let's start off with what exactly is an emergency preparedness kit? An emergency preparedness kit is basically a bag of supplies that provide you with all your physical and mental needs for disaster relief to be able to find you, for you to wait until disaster relief finds you. So, and it has ways in the kit for that disaster relief to find you, to help them find you, and for you to find relief whichever happens first. And according to Barbara Pleasant, a master gardener and columnist for over 35 years, she suggests adding a way to purify water and to sustain yourself without relying on the electricity from your house, without relying on the water from your house, or the grocery store is the best way to have a sustainable, self relying emergency preparedness kit. And lastly, an emergency preparedness kit should probably be portable so that you can take it with you on the go, whether you need to hunker down or you need to get on to a different place because it's unsafe where you're at. So, what are some of the things inside of an emergency preparedness kit? First thing is first, there is no right or wrong way to build an emergency preparedness kit. As long as it works for you and your needs, that's all that needs to be said about it, as long as it works for you. But here are some things that Ready.gov suggests. Ready.gov is a government campaign that's been working for almost 20 years on educating Americans on disaster response. And they suggest adding things like portable water, about a gallon per person per day for several days. Food, they say only 3 days worth of food, but I think it really should be more like 7 because disasters are unpredictable. If it's something super severe, 3 days is not going to last nearly enough time as we've seen with maybe Hurricane Harvey. You need at least a week. A battery-powered radio, a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration weather radio with a tone alert, so in case that another extreme weather condition happens, you get notified right away. A whistle, a flashlight with extra batteries, a first aid kit, and an extra change of clothes. So there's two that I'm actually going to go into a little bit of detail about, and let's first start off with the first aid kit. So, according to Marissa Ames, she's been a writer for about 20 years for Countryside and Small Stock, a publisher with focus on nutrition, well-being, and personal reliance. She suggests adding these items to a first aid kit, and those are bandages, adhesive tape, gauze rolls, an instant cold pack, elastic bandages, scissors, tweezers, gloves, triangular bandage, and like antiseptic wipes or like peroxide, and as well as your medical information so that first responders know how to treat you. But I think one of the most important parts that she suggests is the first aid kit manual, because even if you don't know how to use the things in a first aid kit, the first aid kit manual will give you the information you need to be able to use those tools effectively. And let's also talk about an extra pair of clothing. So this isn't just like a sweater or like a sweatshirt. It's actually a set of clothing specially designed for your environment. So if you live in a very cold climate, you want to make sure that you're utilizing layering. So layering is what Carl Newman, a certified doctor of medicine for over 30 years and a journalist for over 30 years, he suggests to incorporate layering. That layering is just much more than just an extra change of clothes. It's like having a bottom layer, so that would be like a long sleeve t-shirt that keep the sun off your back when it is hot. It's having a sweater or like a puffy jacket to keep you warm when it is cold, and it's having a rain jacket, a rain and wind jacket, so that even when it's raining and windy, that puffy jacket, it won't do any good in a rainy and windy weather condition. But if you have another jacket over that protects you from the wind and rain, it will keep you much, much more warmer, and it will prevent any hypothermia that you would normally have without those important layers. So now that we know what's actually inside of a kit, it's actually good to know how to maintenance and store it. So emergency preparedness kit doesn't require a lot of maintenance. You want to check it maybe every 2 years, make sure that the batteries are okay, the food is still, hasn't expired, and the water is still drinkable. So just like a checkup every 2 years is fine. You want to make sure that you store it in the proper locations so it's accessible to you. So those are places like your job site, where in your car when you're on the go, and in your house, of course. So you can have it in one of those locations or all three. It really depends on whatever situation you believe you need. That's the great thing about emergency preparedness kit. There's no right and wrong way to do it. And so now that you know what an emergency preparedness kit is, and what's inside of it, and where to store it, and how to maintenance it, you're all good. You know, have all the steps necessary to create your own successful emergency preparedness kit. And thank you for making it this far. I'm as a Boy Scout. In my troop, we have this. In the Boy Scout troop, we have this motto, and it's called "Be prepared." But we also have a saying in our troop that's "Hope for the best and prepare for the worst." And this is how I prepare for the worst. Thank you for listening.